Viewer beware, you're in for a scare.
Lindy names the ventriloquist dummy she finds Slappy. Slappy is kind of ugly, but he's a lot of fun. Lindy's having a great time learning to make Slappy move and talk, but Chris is jealous of all the attention her sister is getting. It's no fair. But why does Lindy have all the luck? Chris decides to get a dummy of her own. She'll show Lindy. Then weird things begin to happen. Nasty things. Evil things. No way a dummy can be causing all the trouble. Or is there?
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode shit.
Episode shit.
Episode shit of the Horror of Babylon, where we discuss Goosebumps, Night of the Living Dummy by R.L. Stine. I am Ryan, and with me as always is this dummy, Daniel.
Who are you calling dummy? I was gonna do that joke.
I had money on it that you were gonna say hello, slave.
Yeah.
And speaking of slaves of the vast Horror of Babylon media empire, thank you to our patrons, including Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth,
Patron of Hope,
and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yeah.
Oh, she makes it rain. And Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com, and if you make it into the store, say hello to the proprietor, the biggest dummy of them all, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas, and if you slap him, he will not slap you back, I promise.
I kind of want to, drug him just so I can paint little dummy lines on his mouth.
Yeah, I like that. Trigger warning, ventriloquist dummies.
Twins.
And twins. If
Twins freak me out.
Dale Gribble, do not listen to this episode. Do not read this book. You will lose your mind. Our history with Night of the Living Dummy and the character of Slappy. Daniel?
I think this is one of the... I have a hard time remembering which Goosebumps books I've read. I'm 99% sure this is one of the ones I've read because I remembered a bunch of the plot points that were happening as I was reading them. Slappy, because I met Slappy first on the TV show. Because I watched the TV show before I actually started reading the books. Because that's how I worked as a child.
I am positive I read Night of the Living Dummy 2 and 3 as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I read this one. I know I owned it, and there's a chance I read it, but I'm not positive. However, a few years ago, Beck and the kids and I did listen to this one together in the car as an audiobook.
Ooh.
So this is actually my second time reading this book as an adult. And I'll tell you, the first time I read it, it was my first time reading a Goosebumps book as an adult. I was a little underwhelmed. I have a much higher opinion of it now on the second reread. And then Slappy, just like every kid, he's just like one of the iconic villains from my childhood, from the second and third Night of the Living Dummy book, and then from the TV show.
Not Mr. Wood?
No. Not Mr. Wood. Okay, so actually I decided we would add a new section for
Covers?
for the Summer of Goosebumps episode where we go over the various covers of each book. And we did this a little bit with Beast from the East.
Yeah.
If you are watching the YouTube version, of course, we'll have the images there. And if you're listening to an audio version, you can just Google them and follow along. But we're going to start with the original American cover with art by Tim Jacobus. I have to say, this one, I think, is one of the best, and I think it's legitimately scary.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much else to say. It's Slappy on the cover, and it really gets across the point. It's a living dummy.
And it just happens that this one has red lettering, so it looks like blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so buckle up.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
This one has a ton of covers, and I didn't include them all.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm ready.
I just included some of the better ones. Okay, so this is the American reprint cover with art by Brandon Dorman.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's passable.
I think this cover tries too hard to make Slappy look evil. Mm-hmm. Where this one, Slappy does look evil, but he also just looks like a ventriloquist dummy.
I think the brilliant thing about the first one is it's not his expression that looks evil, it's the way that they use the lighting in the art.
It's like catching a doll when you're walking through your house at night.
Yeah. But this one, tries to use his eyebrows and his grin to make him look evil, and it's fine.
It's fine. It's just not as good as the first one.
Yeah. Okay, so do you remember when we looked at the French cover?
I am ready for all of the French covers.
Okay, so here's the French... Or no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, this is the British one.
That's worse.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
That is so much worse.
Okay, I don't have artists for all of these, so I'm sorry if we don't quote them. But so we're looking at the UK cover for Night of the Living Dummy.
How is that more terrifying?
Oh, just wait. That's not the worst one by a lot. Now let's go to the French one.
It almost doesn't even look like a dummy. It just kind of looks like a person dressed up as a dummy freaking out their friend.
Yeah.
like that's the face of a girl whose friend is acting weird towards her. Oh, it's me flirting with one of my friends.
The Japanese cover.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's almost like phone background good.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
I'm not sure how I feel about the little demon shadow. I didn't catch that at first.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be better without the demon shadow.
Yeah.
Other than that.
The Korean cover.
Oh my god.
This one has Mr. Wood on it.
Yeah. I know what scene that is.
Yep.
Hey everybody, I like spaghetti.
Okay. Oh, and the Indonesian cover.
That one's also just okay.
It kind of put it for whatever reason. It kind of put me in the mind of Pennywise.
Yeah, because I get these little claws here, and stuff is shifting out of the dummy.
Yeah, and they kind of look like balloons in the background. I don't
it's something
think they
about
are.
the shape of the mouth and the teeth.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Background. This book was released in May of 1993 and has sold over 2 million copies. It is, of course, is written by R.L. Stine. This is number 7 of the 62 books of the original Goosebumps series. It's the first of the original Night of the Living Dummy trilogy. There are 2 sequels. Night of the Living Dummy 2 was published in 1995. Night of the Living Dummy 3 was published in 1996. Night of the Living Dummy has the second most entries in the original Goosebumps series after Monster Blood, which there are 4 Monster Blood books in the original series.
Huh. All right.
It is the first book of the Living Dummy saga. There are 18 Slappy books. And of course, this is the first appearance of Slappy. So I actually found on 3 different answers to what inspired R.L. Stine to write this.
Okay.
According to his autobiography, he got the idea for the Night of the Living Dummy books from reading The Adventures of Pinocchio when he was a kid. And according to the Goosebump official collector's Caps book, he got the idea from his own ventriloquist dummy that he used to scare his brother when he was a kid. And then also apparently he was inspired by the 1962 episode of The Twilight Zone, The Dummy, which I have not seen. I know nothing about. So in terms of adaptations, this is one of the 19 Goosebump books from the original series that was not adapted in the 1995 Goosebumps TV series.
Because no one wanted to see Mr. Wood.
I honestly think that's the reason.
Yeah, after reading this, that's what my conclusion was.
Yeah. In 2015, it was adapted as a part of the Goosebumps Graphics series, which is a series of graphic novels. And in 2023, it was included in the new Disney Plus Goosebumps series.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Moving on to structure and themes. Daniel, I would like you to compare your experience of reading Night of the Living Dead to your experience of reading The Beast from the East, and just kind of give me your general thoughts.
I did not know it was possible for a Goosebumps book that is 132 pages long to be a slow burn.
It is 100% a slow burn.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that starting the book. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've read this before because I was remembering things. But I don't know if it was because I was actually remembering them or I was intuitively guessing because I'm reading a children's book.
It surprised me a couple times. There were some twists that I didn't guess.
But I was sitting there and I was like, this is really kind of like simmering as a children's book. And I was that where Beast of the East is like they drop you in there and then there's the monsters.
Beast of the East was very set piece driven, and the kids were really just going from like one gross thing to the next gross thing and the next gross thing. This had more of like a traditional rise and fall story arc, and it actually had like some character development and some themes.
It had actual themes and character arcs.
I don't know why I was so... I think the first time I read it a few years ago, I was kind of underwhelmed, mainly because Slappy is not the villain.
Yeah, that's probable. If I had to guess, because I kept waiting for Slappy to happen, and then I was like...
Last page.
Oh, okay, there it is.
But...
Hiya! Happy Easter!
I was honestly a lot more impressed with it on the second read.
No, I think that this is actually pretty well written.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than anything I could do, so...
Yeah. So the thing that got me, that I didn't even remember from when I read it a couple years ago, is when it's revealed that I think the worst thing that happens in this book is not even done by a dummy.
Yeah.
It's when the one sister trashes their kitchen and wastes all their fucking food and tries to blame it on a dummy.
I almost think there is a universe where this page had like 10 more pages of build up and that was the ending. That was the Goosebumps twist, is there's no ghosts. I almost feel like it was kind of written in that direction, and then he goes, no, people need it, they want the spooky thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any proof of that, it just kind of feels that way to me. Like there is some universe where that's what he was building up to, and then he went, people want the spooky thing.
Yeah.
And that's what he's known for.
And good thing he added that spooky thing, because that spooky thing... How much money do you think he's made from Slappy?
Okay, this book sold 2 million copies.
And there are 18 Slappy books.
Let's assume that he only made $1 off of each book sold.
Okay, hold on.
Let's just assume that.
Okay, so 18 books, and let's say he sold 2 million of each. So that's 36 million. So $1 is... Yeah. 36 million.
And then after taxes, you have it. There you go.
Okay. Watch this. Magic. $18 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, he obviously made the right business choice.
Let's just Google his net worth. R.L. Stine net worth.
Is R.L. Stine the richest writer in the world?
200 million. Okay, and just for comparison's sake, let's just do a few of these. James Patterson, 800 million. Okay. Stephanie Meyer, 120. Stephen King, 500 million. And let's do JK as well, since we're doing authors. 1 billion. Dang. Okay.
Welcome to the Billionaire Club.
And she's holding a picture of the casual vacancy. I could not make it through that book. Oh my god.
I don't know what that is.
That was her novel after Harry Potter. It's just... I don't even remember what it's about, but it's just a novel. Like...
I'm sorry.
I don't know. It was boring. Beck and I tried listening to it on a drive. We got like 3 or 4 chapters in, and we just couldn't. Okay. Themes, twins and sibling rivalry. I am so glad I do not have twins. I was feeling these parents the entire time.
One of the few things I've ever wanted in life was to have twins, and I'm starting to rethink it.
Yeah.
I would probably shave one of their heads just so I could tell them apart.
And this one has long hair, one has short hair.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be enough for me. Tattoos.
If that's not enough for you, then you probably aren't capable of taking care of a child. Which one of you has long hair and which one of you has short hair?
Yeah, I can't remember your names.
My mom, for the past, we've had these cats for like 12 years or something.
Yeah.
And she can never remember which one's Leonard and which one's Sheldon. Leonard is the long hair cat.
Yeah.
And Sheldon is the short hair cat. LLSS.
Children are basically cats to me.
Yeah. And then The Boy Who Cried Wolf, which is a very, very common Goosebumps theme.
Yeah, Stephen King uses that a lot.
Yeah. Stephen King does use that a lot.
Oh, fucking R.L. Stein.
We've done like 3 Stephen King books in a row, so
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not calling them the different Currys. I thought the sibling rivalry was handled really well. Just as somebody who had a bunch of siblings, and you have siblings, so you know.
They're at each other's throat the entire time until something dangerous happens, and then they're instantly like, yeah.
The prank was a little far, but I'm like,
yeah, that's. I didn't remember, because this second read, I was like, oh, like, the dummies did that. No, fuck, the girl did that. That's shitty.
And I honestly feel like if you could have done, like, even 10 more pages of build-up for it, it could have been like, you know, she just wanted to have her own thing, and she's finally snapping.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see the universe where that was the twist.
Yeah. To me, that's like, I love the talent show. Like, I think that's funny as shit.
Yeah.
But to me, like, the kitchen was the worst thing in the book.
And it was done by one of the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know kids can do some really stupid and destructive things.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
But speaking of kids, let's jump to characters and let's talk about Chris and Lindy Powell. It took me about half the book to keep them straight. Like, I think Chris is Mr. Wood and Lindy is Slappy.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Chris likes her jewelry.
If it was a longer book, I might have written that on my hand. Other than that, I mean, like, they're typical Goosebumps heroines, protagonists. Like,
I spent the entire time calling her Lindsay until, like, I was 100 pages in.
Good old Lindsay.
Yeah.
Kind of what got me about this book is these kids are 12 and they act like real kids. And, you know, from raising my daughter's 14 turning 15 next month, and when she was 12, her and her friends, like, they really act like more like small teenagers. Like, obviously, like, smartphones and social media didn't exist when this book was written, but like, just like the 12-year-olds in this book versus the 12-year-olds that I know today is just like night and day difference.
Yeah. We're gonna take our bikes somewhere to talk to a boy.
Yeah.
That's almost never brought up again.
Yeah.
He's brought up like one other time.
Also, like, the fact that they could take their bikes and just leave without parents.
Yeah, that Bluey episode.
Yeah, it was the 80s.
You just went somewhere? I still haven't seen that one. You just told me about it. But I can picture it in my head.
Well, the 80s one is real good. Maybe we'll watch that for the next pre-show.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Mr. and Mrs. Powell.
Okay, so I do have a mild critique of their parenting. I don't have to raise these kids, or any kids in general. But you believe your daughter just did a really, really destructive prank. Mm-hmm. And your first instinct when you wake up the next day is to go shopping first.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be talking, like you would...
To a doctor first thing.
Or talking to her.
Yeah.
Or burning the dummy if you're like one of those parents.
Probably wouldn't do that, but...
But, like, literally anything, but we're gonna go shopping and leave you alone for probably a couple hours first.
Like, I guess... I feel like they should have talked to her the night of, but I understand the, I'm so angry I can't talk about it right now.
You need to cool off,
yeah.
But you had the night to cool off.
Yeah.
That's my only real critique. The rest of it was like, he goes on a business trip so that he can be out of the way for the pranks to happen. And the mom is like, I am sick of your bullshit. Because of course she's sick of the bullshit.
My main takeaway from the parents is I love how sassy the mom is.
Yeah.
She's like the Han Solo of moms. It's like, Mom, when can I get my own room? On the 12th of never. When the husband can't cut up the onions, she calls him a baby. I just love how sassy she is, and she just doesn't take any of their crap. Sometimes I wish I could just tell off people the way that other people do, and I really enjoy it when I get to see other people do it, and I think, man, I wish I could talk to people like that.
I believe in you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I believe you have it in you.
I believe in the me that believes in you. Okay, so Slappy, what was it like figuring out that Slappy wasn't the villain of this book?
Weird. That's the only way to describe it, is because he's like he's the Goosebumps icon.
Yeah.
You think of Goosebumps, do you think of anything else before you think of Slappy?
No.
I don't think so. I think if a person told me they did, it's probably whatever their first Goosebumps book was.
Yeah, like if you have a real special attachment to a particular book, sure.
What's the runner-up? Maybe The Haunted Mask?
Werewolf of Fever Swamp, maybe. Yeah. But everything's a runner-up.
Yeah, everything is a runner-up to Slappy. It's like everything's a runner-up to Pennywise.
Yeah.
You can try as hard as you want, but you're never going to escape the shadow of Slappy.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the shadow of Mr. Wood.
Oh, Mr. Wood.
I feel like he could have been the icon if his name was different. I feel like that's one of the reasons. Not only because he gets destroyed at the end of the book,
mm-hmm.
but I feel like part of it, like, Slappy kind of just... It's Will Smith, it slaps. But what did the mom call him in the movie?
Oh, shit. That was so funny. Like Diddums or something like that.
Yeah, it was something stupid.
No, this is Diddums.
Yeah.
I don't remember
But that's how I feel about Mr. Wood, is like, it's literally like a name a 12-year-old would come up with on the spot, which is what she did.
Mr. Wood. Yeah, and all the jokes are wood-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite class? Wood shop.
I honestly kind of liked the mean comedy. I feel like...
Yeah, no, I thought it was funny. I laughed out loud several times.
I'm like, if she would have done this comedy today on, like, TikTok or YouTube, I think people would have gotten a riot out of it. She was just born in the... She wasn't born in the Dave Chappelle generation. She needed some, like, a audience that's willing to be, like, goofed on.
I really thought it was funny when the old people came over to watch, and she just like, "You're so ugly!" It's funny as shit.
There was one, if we count your wrinkles, will we know how old you are? Like
that,
the rings.
That one made me laugh.
That was good.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
I like barked like, ah! Got him!
I felt like they just didn't have a good sense of humor.
No. The poor old people who've been married for so long that they look like each other.
Yeah, Slappy was the fucking Will Smith of the comedy tour. and Woody was the edgy comedian willing to, like, cross all the lines. And I honestly feel like after he came alive, I didn't get enough of that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess I was getting that because it was him saying it. Mm-hmm. But, like, when he, like, was actively fucking with the girls, I felt like he could have told a couple of jokes.
Yeah. I agree.
That's about my only critique. But again, you know, I think the slow burn getting there is what sold this book for me.
Once Mr. Wood comes alive, it's a real fast slope to the ending.
Yeah.
Like, really fast. And it's hard to say that it should have been longer because this book is intended for like elementary age kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely did not expect it to be the slow burn that it is. Hef, don't read this book. It'll just make you angry.
I thought he was here. I was
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is he doing?
He's here.
I turned to look.
He's like, I read this book. It fucking sucks. I hate this slow burn bullshit.
Nobody dies until like page 100. I can't do a good half.
No.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Scary shit. So, for the Summer of Goosebumps, I'm replacing our typical question with, did this book give you goosebumps?
The idea that I could have a daughter and she could destroy my entire kitchen gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. Kids do dumb crap.
I was like, oh, okay. That's why people wear condoms. The idea of living toys always kind of freaks me out.
I will say that I don't remember reading this one, but Night of the Living Dummy 3 did chill me when I was a kid. And I remember watching the episode of The Bride of Slappy or Slappy's Bride, whatever it's called. I remember getting kind of scared watching that as a kid.
I do recall, like in this book, right? I just wasn't threatened by him once he was once they caught him.
Yeah.
Because they held him, they put him in the suitcase.
Well, because he's a dummy.
And he kept saying, I have powers, and I was just thinking, like, prove it, pussy. they just keep punning him.
Well, do you remember, I think it was in the Goosebumps 2 episode where we read off all Slappy's powers?
Yeah, but, like...
He's gained all those powers over the course of 18 books.
Yeah.
And this is the first one, so...
So his powers are, like, being able to dig himself out of dirt.
Yeah.
So I guess that would require, like, a certain amount of super strength. He can hold a small dog. Because it was like a terrier, right? It was like one of those, like...
It was a terrier,
Okay,
yeah.
It was like one of those, like, not real dogs.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz, my king is just kind of like the twisty-turny, slow burn nature of it.
It's mine too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the first twist. Because it was a slow burn to the first twist.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised that the sister was the one who was fucking all the shit up.
And honestly, that was kind of creative.
Yeah. No,
that was a long-term... She was playing the long con.
She was.
She was like, I can't believe she touched me. I want just one thing to myself.
These girls are dangerous.
Want to make my money.
And then Koontz, I don't know.
I kind of want to know what the rap was.
Yeah.
Because she's like, the kids loved my rap, and I'm picturing, like, the corniest shit.
I think he was afraid to write a rap and put it in here.
I always say that if you're not a lyricist, it's probably best to only write a few lines of a song instead of a whole song. Like,
you have a device for everybody.
Can you dig your man? Like, do we have a whole song? No.
Baby, can you dig your
man?
But
we got bits and pieces.
He's
to where
a
we
righteous
can kind of
man. Yeah.
Piece it together. But if you can't write a rap, don't write a rap.
Sure. My Koontz is, I want to know what the rap is.
I want to know what the rap is.
Okay.
That's what I want to know.
All right, rankings. I did not rank this. It's going to be, unfortunately, I have a lot of nostalgia for The Beast from the East, but I think this is going to be higher. I think I have you first.
Also same.
Yeah, you're first.
Find my Beast from the East, and I'll go from there.
38.
Oh, God, it's way higher than that. I think I liked it more than the Scarlet Plane. Did I like it more than the Bone Farm? I'm gonna put it...
There was boning in the Bone Farm.
Yeah. And I really kind of like the way that was written.
Dean Koontz, it's going above your magnum opus. It's going above Watchers.
Oh,
It's your new number 29, Below the Bone Farm and Above Watchers.
Like, looking at my list, I honestly feel the Five Nights at Freddy's books should have been written more like this and this length.
Yeah.
He should have just done a deal with R.L. Stein.
It's going to be my new number 29, Below the Shadow over Innsmouth and Above the Little Sisters of Aluria.
It's a pretty good spot.
Homework. How does Slappy leave the pals? Do the girls defeat him, send him down the river? Does he kill them all and burn the house down? Like, how do you think he transitions away from them?
Okay, they try the suitcase idea again.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. And then they try it a third time. Still doesn't work. Then they both wake up in suitcases buried 6 feet underground.
Ooh. Ooh. So, as soon as Mr. and Mrs. Powell get back from the garden store,
yeah,
the girls run down the stairs. Slappy is alive! Slappy is alive! Slappy is alive! And they both snap, and they murder their daughters.
I like that we both went dark.
Then they realize what they did, and they do a love pack suicide and kill each other. And Slappy like walks out. It's like, well, fuck, what do I do here? And he ends up in a police auction.
You know what's weird is that was my backup. Was I was going to say that Slappy makes it look like a murder suicide of the family, but I thought that was too dark.
Yeah.
Good job. I like it.
Thank you. Further reading, I think I have an even higher opinion of some of the things that Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween does in the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
Because they really, like, it's not an adaptation of this book, but they really take from it. It goes, obviously, like, it goes off in a really different direction.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
But the first part of it really feels like...
this had me wanting to watch those movies again. Good job.
Hello, Mr. Stein.
Hello, Mr. Black.
Who's that?
He's the new drama teacher.
Oh, and also for Zombie Day, what Stephen King novel do you think Mrs. Powell was reading? Also, it said on the wiki that they removed that for the graphic novel adaptation.
I can't remember. Were the twins in the Shining book? Or is that added
No,
in the
they are
movie?
not in the book.
I didn't think so.
I think she was reading Carrie and fantasizing about being a mom who could physically abuse her daughters.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with, oh god, not Misery, it's the other one. The one where she throws her husband down a well.
Dolores Claiborne?
Yes, yeah. Dolores. She was reading Dolores Claiborne.
Okay. All right, cool. Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, next week, we are doing a watch-along where we watch the Night of the Living Dummy episode of the new Goosebumps series. And then our next book episode will be on Sunday, June 30th, where we read The Haunted Mask. And then our next two bonus episodes on June 20th, we are watching the J-Horror Classic House.
Oh, I am so excited for House.
Yeah, it's been on my watch list for a very long time. And then on June 27th, Hef will be here, and we are watching Kenan and Kel, Two Heads Are Better Than None.
I am so excited for this.
I think maybe we should, the three of us, watch it together and then record.
I think we should. I'll bring over some beers.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many, but like enough.
Yeah, like, a couple each.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I just got a feeling that we're going to need them.
I know it's not going to be as good as I remember it.
It's not going to... It's going to be good burger.
Oh, that was so bad.
But I feel like if we're watching it together, it won't be good burger.
Yeah.
Especially with a couple beers. It's going to be all of our number ones.
And you know who serves up a good burger? Our patrons. Thank you to Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
And thank you to Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is just across the road from the Mondo Burger. And you can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com. If you make it into the shop, say hello to the proprietor, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. Watch out, he does projectile vomit on a regular basis. So I believe there's a sign right outside the store that says wet zone area.
I really think he would do really well dressed up as a dummy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a costume that he could like really sell.
Yeah. And he could just be like him, but just do like...
Just a lot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his comedy kind of reminds me of like a ventriloquist stand-up.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, I can see it.
He's like a funny Jeff Dunham.
I used to love Jeff Dunham when I was a kid.
Same.
But like the few
even
times
as like a teenager. But
yeah, but I tried to watch him as an adult, and it just doesn't hit the same way.
It's like I don't know, like racism just doesn't hit the same for me anymore.
Yeah.
And I even think that those jokes are okay. I'm like that dude, but I'm sitting there going, you either need to be like 5% edgier or scale it back a bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for reading Night of the Living Dummy and recording with me tonight.
You know, I was trying to think of another dummy joke, but I don't got one, so it was a good time. I guess I am the dummy.
You are. All right. Thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.